It takes a while to get us warmed up because I tell you, they asked us what our notes were. Here they are.
Yeah, that's
What does unplug mean? And who gets the female end? I mean...
I'll tell you who's got it so far today.
Sense of humor.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
You gotta have a sense of humor,
yeah.
Imagination, and realize that they don't really know what they're talking about or they wouldn't have been brought it up in the first place. I used to think that when a firefighter died, they were all buried in the same place, and they all had pimples on their ass. Because my whole career, people would say to me, you'll never be a pimple on that guy's ass. The alderman says, but why are we paying $800 a bottle? And I said, because a dead firefighter is $10.5 million. Oh, poof, over. Okay, we'll move to the next item. The police chief and my assistant chief out in the hallway says, wow, where did you get that figure? I said, I made it up. As a firefighter, I could never get excited about a one-story building fully involved with no exposures. Cannot get excited about that. To me, that's just a lighting situation. I got promoted during the riot times, and a guy gave me the best piece of advice I ever had. He says, nobody throws a full can of beer, kid. And truckies are not really stupid people. But we learned a long time ago, if we didn't stand in a circle and talk to each other, we had to pick up all that goddamn hose. The fire chief has to deal with 9 languages. Any language that comes out of the other side of the firehouse, meaning City Hall, you have to deal with. And you should be good enough at it that you can say anything you want to say in any language that they think they understand, reinforce it, and get the money and run before they knew you took it. Leadership. Well, number one, I don't think there's a lot of it left in America in the fire service. Number two, I had a very simple leadership perspective. One on my locker was Vince Lombardi's speech about second place games are losers playing losers for a losing trophy. And the other was a 3-sentence statement that said, ready, fire, aim. The discussion of rescue with firefighters is kind of repulsive to me because tactics keep firefighters from having to be rescued. And the first thing he said to me, he says, you know, you guys in the East Coast are traditionalists. And he says, but we're innovative. So I said to him, how the hell do you innovate something you don't know the tradition of? Management is management, you know? The leadership is getting things done and, like you say, preventing things from being done and driving success through the efforts of others is really what it is. I'd like to see more company-level commitment to performance excellence, no matter what you call it. I mean, going to fires with 2 people on a fire truck, on a $600,000 fire truck is lunacy. Take a bus, man. You save the city a lot of money. And you'll do more because your head will be clear when you get there. I was always one of the first to grab these guys and say, listen, this is your job now. It doesn't matter what they did, it's what you do. Let me tell you something I told you last year. You are the fire service of tomorrow. And I'm telling you, take it over because it's being taken from you. You understand? So if you want to have some type of future that you define, you have to be in charge. I spend a lot of energy away from my boat, which really gets me upset, you know? And in the hopes that maybe some old people like me could capture some young hearts like them and say, take hold of this horse, you know? Yeah. And get going.
So here's to you with that smile on your face. Here's to you. Never time or race to this moment we share, to the love and the care. Here's to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Diane Feldman and Glenn Corbett.
Good morning, everybody. First, I'd like to call out to the stage Eileen Brennan Kress. Tom's daughter chose to be with us here today, and she's going to help present the award. Eileen? And now on to training achievement. You might call them the Fab Four.
Baby, you can drive my car.
Not that Fab Four. Lieutenant Steve Bernocco, Captain Mike Gagliano, Captain Phil Joes, and Captain Casey Phillips, who we like to call the Seattle guys, are 4 fire officers from the Seattle, Washington Fire Department who have dedicated themselves to preaching the gospel of air management. The idea of the rule of air management, or ROAM as everyone calls it now, got started when 2 of their fellow Seattle firefighters got lost at fires and ran out of air. One in a large hotel fire and one on a large fish processing boat fire. And both of the firefighters almost lost their lives. The 4 Seattle guys got together after that and were trying to figure out how to solve the problem of firefighters running out of air in structure fires. They looked to the scuba diving industry and figured out the solution, that firefighters have to leave the hazard area before their low air alarm activates.
Many fire departments around the nation have adopted the ROAM program and has become an air management standard of the fire service. The new NFPA 1404 standard mandates that firefighters follow the ROAM wherever they use their and whenever they use their SCBA. According to Mike Gagliano, air management is just now starting to be viewed as a critical component of strategic and tactical considerations, but is still slow in coming. Every firefighter now knows that smoke that they breathe is toxic, incapacitating, and carcinogenic, and it's a real mess. Yet somehow chief and company officers are still content in letting the firefighters say that they love to breathe the smoke as part of a standard operating procedure. My partners and I are committed to proclaiming from the rooftops across America that true leaders in the fire service will adopt the air of rule management and manage the air just like they do every other resource in the fire ground. This will take guts, as it may mean to you it will be unpopular in some firehouses. It will also mean your firefighters will be safer, more effective, and have a better understanding and a better ability of not ending their careers because of asphyxiation or dying of cancer due to smoke inhalation.
The Seattle guys have been teaching for almost 10 years. They began in their own department teaching basic fire ground skills to their members, and now they teach nationwide on firefighter safety and survival. They are members of their department's Fire Department Operational Skills Enhancement Training Development Team, and they're committed to teaching basic structural firefighting to their department and to departments across the country. They founded their own training company called Effective Fire Service Training, and they just put out a fire engineering book called Air Management for the Fire Service, available in the bookstore downstairs.
And I'm sure they're going to sign copies, too, for anyone who wants them. Dave Dodson, Battalion Chief, and the author of Art of Reading Smoke, says of these 4, the Fab Four, that one breath of today's house fire smoke, one, can alter your life forever or simply end it. Running out of breathing air is no longer an option. Mike, Phil, Casey, and Steve understand this threat and launch an impressive effort to collect ideas, develop solutions, and broadcast a first-class training effort. Their innovations probably have and most certainly will make firefighters across the nation go home. Tom Brennan would be impressed.
For their innovative ROAM program and for their dedication to training the men and women of the fire service throughout the country, we present the Fab Four with the 2008 Tom Brennan Training Achievement Award. I'd like to call up to the stage Steve Bernocco, Mike Gagliano, Phil Joes, and Casey Phillips.
Wow, that's a piece of hardware right there. I think my bag will be a little overweight by the time I get to the airport this time. Tom Brennan taught us many lessons. One lesson that he taught us and one that we use at every structure fire is make the building behave. Thank you, Tom. Thank you for taking the time to listen to four guys from Seattle. Thank you, Eileen, for being here today, representing the entire Clan Brennan. Thank you to Bobby, Diana, Mary Jane, Julie and Jerry, and all the wonderful people at Penwell Publishing and Fire Engineering Magazine. To the students and instructors of FDIC, from whom we've learned so much, thank you. And finally, to the most important women in our lives, Trish, Bonnie, Ann, and Lynn, your love and support make us better men. Thank you. Thank you all.